Fine hooligans. Hobo's mucho bueno with ya. Quick little video because there's some stuff that I wanted to talk about. I'm sitting on the freaking TV remote. Okay, so on Crave or HBO Max in the States, I'm watching a show called Our Flag Means Death. It's kind of a comedic take on like pirates and stuff like that. But because pirates have always been something that I've been super interested in, and I loved learning about them and reading about them ever since I was a kid, I wanted to share some stuff with folks that might not be familiar with it. So, the main character, Steed Bonnet, is actually a real person that became a real pirate. And I have 3 episodes left in the series, so I'm not sure where it goes. Excuse me. But so Steed Bonnet actually did have a wife and kids, and just ended up becoming a pirate. And the reason for that there's been a couple different things given. One person, or I shouldn't just say one person, but one story I've read was there was the death of one of his children. There was financial issues, especially given that he took out a 1,700 pound loan from someone. So it's up in the air of like when it all what caused it kind of thing. In the show, we see that he just kind of, or at least from what I've seen so far, he just wanted something different. He wanted to like do something different with his life. He wasn't, I don't know, happy in the whole just settling down in a family type thing. But in real life, Steed Bonnet actually did end up like sailing with Blackbeard, Edward Teach, as it were. Excuse me. The cool thing about this is we've kind of seen this a little bit hinted at the show and everything. In real life or in history, it wasn't as friendly as like some people might think. They did agree to like sail together, but at some point, Blackbeard had suggested to the gentleman pirate, which Stede Bonnet actually was called the gentleman pirate. So that's kind of a cool thing. But Blackbeard actually suggested to him to like, come and hang out on his ship instead. You're far too good to be like, slaving over the rest of your crew in your ship. Like, come and hang out on mine, and let one of my people just kind of take care of your ship for you. Stede Bonnet, not being very experienced in the life of a pirate, I think overall his like pirating career, if you want to call it that, was about 2 years roughly. That decision to go and hang out on Blackbeard's ship as what he thought was his friend, very quickly it was evident that that's not what it was. Blackbeard then was pretty much, he ordered his crewmate that was in charge of the ship, I believe it was called the Revenge, I could be wrong about that, to pretty much ditch a lot of the crew that was on that ship onto like one of the like desert islands and everything. Took a whole bunch of his stuff. It wasn't as friendly as the gentleman pirate thought it was going to be. Eventually, Stede Bonnet had kind of declared revenge on Blackbeard. He got his ship back, went and rescued that crew, and then tried to pretty much like spend the rest of the time hunting down Blackbeard and trying to get his revenge on him for, wronging this gentleman pirate, as it were. Oh, itchy ear. Sorry about that. But this didn't last very long, as I think it was about, I want to say it was probably around 1712 that all of this kind of came crashing down for both of them, actually. Stede Bonnet, I can't remember if he turned himself in or the British Navy actually like caught up with one of his with his ship and like took him prisoner. But either way, he was arrested. Blackbeard, very famously, went down in a very bloody battle. It said that he was stabbed multiple times. I think his head was cut off. I could be wrong about that detail though. But he went down fighting on the deck of a ship, pretty much. Whereas Stede Bonnet faced trial for his crimes and everything. And it's said that he tried to use his like standing as a privileged and like kind of a wealthy citizen to either get out of the charges or to at least escape like more serious charges and death kind of thing. Because at this time, if you were a pirate and you got caught, you're getting hanged. Like that's just what it was pretty much. But there is actually a historical document that if you folks are interested in, you can look it up, of the transcript of Stede Bonnet's like court trial pretty much, where he actually talks about his relationship with Blackbeard. So I don't know, it's kind of a cool historical document that exists from the pirating times and everything. And if anyone else is interested, I advise go try and search it out. Give it a look see, as it were. But yeah, so Stede Bonnet never really got his revenge on Blackbeard, and when Stede Bonnet was very obviously found guilty of being a pirate, because it doesn't matter if you were a rich citizen or you were well off before you became a pirate, you became a pirate. You took ships, or well, at least you robbed them and everything, and you hung out with a lot of ne'er-do-wells, as it were. So I want to say it was probably about a month to a month and a half between Blackbeard getting killed and then Stede Bonnet actually being hanged for being a pirate. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting. And like I said, pirates have always been something that like I've been interested in, and ever since I was a kid, I've loved learning about them. Excuse me. There was something else I wanted to. Oh, the show. Obviously, it is a more comedic take on this Stede Bonnet story and everything. But it should be like mentioned. He had no experience other than being a passenger on ships, but his crew, when he first started like doing his pirate journey, as it were, I think he had about 70 men on the crew. So like, not a super small crew as it's portrayed in the show, but with the show it actually makes more sense because it gives that sense that he really didn't know what he was doing, and you get to see more of the characters on the ship. So yeah. Oh, also, it's like was widely said pretty much anyone that encountered him or people that were on his crew all called him an inept captain. He pretty much had no business trying to be a pirate at the beginning, the middle, or the end of this little journey that he went on. So I don't know. Sometimes it's just better to stay at home and just have dreams of what it might be. You know what I mean? Because if not, you get out there, you realize you're not made for it. You get your ship stolen, people left on deserted islands. Now you got to try and get them back and get revenge on them, but you don't ever end up getting that revenge, and you just get hanged in the end of it. So not worth it. But again, super funny show. Our flag means death. Stede Bonnet, again, a pretty interesting story as far as like the history of pirates go. There is actually a lot of things in the show that come from history in a way. It's just more like in a comedic spin to it, which again makes sense for the show. But yeah, this was an actual person that went from being a kind of a wealthy citizen, or at least what people thought were a wealthy citizen. It depends on if he did have to take that loan, or it was the death of a child, or some other reason why he decided to do this. But yeah, he did have like a family and kids. Decided to be a pirate with no experience of doing this kind of thing or being a captain at all. Named himself the Gentleman Pirate, and it's a super interesting and a bit of a weird story as far as like other pirates go. But go check it out if you want. Our flag means death. Funny little pirate show done by Taika Waititi, which is pretty cool. Also on YouTube there is a channel called Biographics. Really cool show, or well, it's a bit of a show, but a really cool channel which would talk about Steve Bonnet, I believe, and I know for sure he did one on Blackbeard, Edward Teach. So, fine, hooligans. I gotta go get some water now because all that talking and the excitement, I'm a little parched here. But hope you folks are mucho bueno out there. Don't forget to check the other content that was released last week. So just celebrated 7 years of doing the channel. And yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna stop babbling. Mucho love. Mwah, mwah, mwah for you beautiful fat jays. All my quiet kids, freaks, and weirdos, for the love of everybody, keep being weird and watch out for pirates.